Well, Salman Al-Ansari is a Saudi political researcher. He joins me now live from Riyadh, and it's good to have you with us, sir. How big a deal is this?
Thank you so much, Vicky, for having me. I actually have some kind of mixed feelings about resuming relations between Saudi Arabia and Iran, since I and many others survived an assassination attempt by the Iranian regime when I attended an Iranian opposition conference in Paris in 2018. But to answer your question, definitely the official statement of resuming Saudi-Iranian relations via Chinese mediation, with no doubt a bold geopolitical move in an extremely sensitive time. And as we all know, that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was forced to cut ties with Iran after the Iranian outrageous attack and burning of the Saudi embassy in Tehran in 2016, plus also attacking the Saudi consulate in another city in Iran, which is called Mashhad. Anyway, resuming the relations will surely have unprecedented global strategic implications, and I'm saying global, not only regional. Why? Because the U.S. has, as you have seen, has praised the move publicly, but somehow I can surely sense that the Americans are not very happy for the fact that China was behind the mediation. But you guys in the U.S. can actually tell more about that, since definitely the U.S. sees itself as the security guarantor of the Middle East, and China is posing itself as the one who can facilitate peace between the two biggest rivals in the Middle East.
Salman, to remind you, this is a show that is broadcast out of the Middle East. I am in Abu Dhabi. It is, as you rightly point out, an American network. Just to put us in place here, we've talked about the impact and implications, and you wonder how this will go down really in the US. I do want to ask you what you think needs to happen to make this stick and carry this forward.
Yeah, sure. Look, based on my own personal opinion and observation, I'm not representing the government in any way. I personally think Iran is not a rational state, but an ideological, dogmatic theocracy that can hardly be trusted. And as an Iranian citizen just tweeted 30 minutes ago, she said Iran has to be at peace with itself first. And I think the Saudis tried their best to get the international community, specifically the United States, to be more decisive against the Iranian terror activities. But we somehow saw the opposite, especially since the unlawful U.S. invasion of Iraq and how it was handed to Iran on a silver platter. So then the U.S. definitely had the appeasement policy with Iran for the sake of the weak nuclear deal. So I think the Saudis want to try another choice on that particular issue, which is China, since Beijing has more leverage on Tehran than the U.S.
Beijing, of course, flexing an awful lot of diplomatic power here. The Chinese foreign minister told reporters, and I quote him here, "This is a victory for dialogue and peace, which provides major good news and sends a clear signal to the current turbulent world." Just describe, if you will, how this adds to China's positioning, if at all, in the Middle East today.
Yeah, I think, as we all know, China is considered to be the biggest trading partner for Saudi Arabia. And it's not only for Saudi Arabia, it's also the biggest trading partner for the United States and 120 nations around the world. So it's a fact of life that China is an important economic power in the world. And definitely the United States is considered to be the security partner of Saudi Arabia and the #1 security partner in the kingdom. But at the same time, as I said, we need to have a different way of looking at things, because if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten. And we don't want to keep repeating the same appeasement policies with Iran through the Western nations. So we need to find someone who has more leverage on Iran than the US and the West at large. So I think that's going to be a strategic move. But what I'm concerned about is the real question, which is what kind of concessions the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia managed to get from Iran with regards to the many conflicts caused by its IRGC militias, either in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and most importantly, Yemen.
You make a very good point, and we have had some reporting, certainly out of Iran, that off the back of this, there are other diplomatic moves that Tehran wants to make in the region. Neither you nor I have any detail on those, but as you are interested to learn, so I am, about what Tehran means by that. Look, before I let you go, these are busy times on the diplomatic front for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia across a myriad of files. So let's just go through those files. Just this week, rapprochement with Iran, Saudi's foreign minister in Moscow offering to do, quote, whatever is necessary to resolve the conflict in Ukraine. While there, he also reiterated calls for a ceasefire in Yemen. And we see reporting in Western press today that the kingdom is looking to reset relations with Washington, possibly through the lens of normalization with Israel. Looking at the big picture here, what do you make of the kingdom's very busy couple of weeks and its international files at present? What do you make of what you are witnessing here?
It is actually interesting because, as you have mentioned, like a couple of days ago, Prince Faisal bin Farhan, he was actually visiting Moscow, and 20 days before he was in Ukraine meeting President Zelensky. So at that particular point, at that particular time, I was wondering, how come we are trying so hard to resolve the issues between Ukraine and Russia while we are not doing enough with regards to resolving the issues with Iran? So all of a sudden, we've seen today the announcement of this agreement that has been mediated by China. So it shows that Saudi Arabia is all about having zero conflicts with everyone, because the Saudi model is very clear. And I actually call it the development model, because Saudi Arabia